This video is brought to you by Audible. I think it's a little bit too windy to film outside today, so yep, it's plenty of wind there. Let's go inside. We'll do this shot another day. It's less windy down here. So I've been thinking about these cars that drive themselves and what we can do to make this happen as soon as possible. One thing, the first most important thing I think we can do is to write to our Congress people. If you're an American citizen, I've put a link in the description to a form you can just kind of fill out, type in your address and your zip code, and it'll pull up the contact information for your congressional representative. If you think that having self-driving cars would be cool, just maybe send it can be as simple as an email. Say, hey, look, here's a link to an article about how Google has the technology for cars that could drive themselves. Anything you can do in Congress to make this happen quicker. Tell them you'll vote for them. Congress people love votes. And the second best thing I think we can do is just be patient. I know that goes against kind of the attitude I had in my last video. I wanted it, tomorrow if possible. I think I said that. But it's gonna happen. The technology already exists. There's clearly a demand for it. I mean, Google knows that they stand to make a lot of money if they can turn this into a reality. A lot of other companies could stand to make a lot of money if they can turn this into a reality. So, it's gonna happen, but enough about cars that drive themselves. I got a comment on my last video from YouTube username Rubik Zombie. I would much rather have flying cars. Please do a video about flying cars. Okay, I googled this, and there are some vehicles that exist that can function as both cars and as airplanes. They're not exactly flying cars. If you want to fly them, you have to take them to an airport and then fly them around and then land them at another airport. Like back in the 1950s, if you were to go back in time and be like, hey, what do you think the future's going to look like? They'd probably say, oh, I bet you're going to have flying cars, like the Jetsons. It's not exactly that. The reason that I prefer the idea of cars that drive themselves to the idea of flying cars so much is that, you cannot take a flying car to the grocery store without building, all sorts of new infrastructure, all sorts of new airstrips, widening the roads. I don't know what we would have to do, but we'd have to spend a lot of money to make it possible to, land where we would need to land. With cars that drive themselves, though, we don't need any new physical infrastructure. Over the course of the last century, we've invested billions and billions of dollars into our roads, and our roads still work fine, whether we're driving or our cars are driving. Something else that I feel like kind of relates to this discussion, since we're talking about the future and technology and where everything's headed, and I've gotten quite a few emails about this, is the concept of the technological singularity. I'm going to read to you an email that I got from YouTube username JB Dazen. The singularity is the moment when the exponential growth of technology reaches a point where it's going to skyrocket to heights we could never imagine. This means we'll be able to amplify our biological intelligence a millionfold, step out of our biological bodies as we know them now, stop being mortal, and saturate the rest of the universe with our intelligence in the next 200 years. Yeah. I've been familiar with the concept of the technological singularity for a while. In the same way that in the 1950s people were so sure, oh, we're gonna have flying cars. I feel like this is the same sort of excited prediction about the future that in reality probably isn't going to pan out. We're certainly going to see a lot of very cool technological advances that fundamentally change the way that we live. But technological advancements happen one step at a time. It's a little sensational to think that there's just going to be one moment where everything changes. Look at the last couple of decades. There's no denying that we have had some huge technological revolutions that have fundamentally changed the way that we live. But they didn't happen all at once. Like the internet, for example. When the internet started, it was, dial-up, the 90s, the dot-com boom. The internet today does not look like the internet did then. I think that the reason the idea of the technological singularity is so appealing to so many people is, well, first of all, it's vague enough that it can basically mean anything. But second of all, it kind of promotes the idea that someday all of the world's problems will just be packed up into a neat little box that'll solve itself. I don't think the world's that simple. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe someday I'll have nanobots in my brain. I've opened up a few cans of worms, I think. So we'll just see where the comment section and video response. We'll just see where the emails and we'll see where the @replies on Twitter. Everything. I'll be paying attention. I want to keep my finger on the pulse of where your guys' heads are at. Don't feel like you have to agree with me either. You don't. If you disagree, I expect you to be loud. I want you to be loud. That makes things more fun. But okay. All right. I'm going now.
If you like what you just saw, if Dan put you in a state of awe, subscribe to him and click the orange button. It really means something. If you do that, that'd be really cool.
Audible.com is the world's leading provider of downloadable digital audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. They've got over 75,000 titles to choose from that can be downloaded onto your iPod or MP3 player to be played back anywhere, anytime. They've got options in any genre you can think of: comedy, science fiction, drama, history, business, whatever. And what's more is you can get a free audiobook download of your choice if you sign up today by going to audiblepodcast.com/Dan30. Isn't that cool? Don't you want a free audiobook? There's a link in the description. You should do it. Anyway, that's all for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.